Introducing
Pretty Girls Love Real Estate. Stories of everyday women breaking barriers and building wealth through real estate.
Let's get it. Boss. BOSS.
Hello. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Pretty Girls Love Real Estate podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Washington, and we got another great episode for you today. My guest today is my good friend. She's a boss. She's been killing the game in Miami area in Florida. Her name is Stefanie Merelus. I met her a couple of years ago, and she was a big boss in the beauty industry. She owned her own salon. She did all type of cosmetology. She was, owning a school down there. So she's doing really good things. And then eventually she made the transition to real estate. And then she's also now in the financial planning industry. So we're going to talk to her all about that and how, somebody that's looking to invest in real estate can really plan their finances and, really plan for that huge investment in their life. So, hey, Stefanie, what's going on, girl? How you doing?
Hey girl, how are you? It's so nice to be here with you.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you for taking out this time to talk to me. It's good catching up with you again. So I'm really excited to talk to you and for everybody to listen to your story. So first, tell us about, your journey in entrepreneurship in general and how that led for you to get involved with real estate.
Well, with entrepreneurship, man, Jess, it's been a journey. It's been a lot of ups and downs, mostly downs. The reason it's been mostly downs is when I got into entrepreneurship, I kind of was forced into it. I had my kids young. I was 18 years old, pregnant right out of high school. I was trying to do college, but, having a kid, being a fresh mom, you're 19, trying to be a mom, you're sleeping in, young relationship. It was kind of hard for me to go to school, but I still need to make money. And, I've been doing hair making money since 13 years old, 12 or 13. I used to do some strippers at Solid Gold, white chicks, real nice. But at that time, the white strippers, they used to want to get the cornrows all the way down to their ass, Am I not allowed to say that? Can I say that?
Nah, go ahead.
Okay. This is when Allen Iverson was he was doing braids, and everybody was on the braid game. So the white girls, it was very uncommon, unorthodox, not traditional for a white girl at a high-end gentleman's club to get braids. But they wanted it, so I used to add the extensions like here. And then, get it down to their butt. And they used to pay me a lot of money for that. And I'm coming from, making maybe $20 a hairstyle from the people at my school, from the high schools. I was in middle school, but the high school guys, they wanted their hair like Iverson. So now these girls, they paying me $65. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm making it. I'm 13, doing braids. So I didn't understand that my entrepreneurship journey started back in my youth. I used to do the boys' hair before school. I used to do them during lunch, and I used to do the hair after school. So, and back then, designs were in because of Iverson. So, I was charging $5 extra for zigzags. If you wanted the burst, that's a little $5 extra. So, I was doing that. Then I was on the dance team, step team. So I used to do everybody's hair on the team. I used to do makeup. I was the one who was into makeup, and I was into this at a very young age. So I started making money off of it. So when I had my daughter, and I didn't have a regular job, I just was doing hair. I went, got my license, and I started doing hair. And at that time, I was doing music videos. I was working with Young Money, Cash Money. And I had a girl, Chanel, that I met at a surprise birthday party for Lil Wayne, and we were on a yacht. And I didn't know that I was going to go to this party. I didn't know. I was just dressed. Back in those days, I always had my hair done. My makeup used to be on. I used to be cute at 2:00 in the afternoon. And, a photographer I was working with, he was like, yeah, we're going to go to this party. We're going to do this shoot. Just come with me. And I found out when I got there, it was Wayne. And I met Chanel. That's D Woods. Remember D Woods from Danity Kane?
Yep.
Yeah,
That was
okay. So
I love Danny Kane.
okay, so D Woods is sisters with Chanel, and they were part of this girls club. It was a girls group. So it was D Woods, her sister Chanel, and Mika Means. And I met them on this boat. And we just became real cool. And immediately they put me in the girls club. So from that point, I had a relationship with Chanel and Juanita, or D Woods. And I started doing Chanel's hair. And she was like a creative director, artist, dancer for Wayne. So early on, like 21, 22, I'm on set with Wayne doing these videos. And I remember my first video that we did was, I want to say Players Ball with Drake and Birdman. And that was my first set. And then the next day we went and shot the Bedrock video, the Young Money Bedrock video. And then I just always followed her. Me and her became really good friends. Like, you know, so it was crazy because I remember she used to come pick me up in a limo. She would have a driver, Mr. G. They would come pick me up in a limo. And, you know, I was like in Carroll City in income restricted apartments. And I'm like, girl, you can't be having no limo come pick me up outside my house.
Right, you making my block hot, girl.
Yeah, girl, they must. Like, is you crazy? I don't got it like that. You know, we going to the beauty supply store on 135th and Opalaka, and, you know, we have the driver, and I'm like, Mr. G, you don't have to open the door. We could get out. Like, he's in his tuxedo, and I'm like, does he have to wear that, my G? Like, for real? Like, it's not that serious. But, you know, it was good. It started from there. Then, you know, did some fashion shows, did some magazines, you know, so I am published. I did do a cover of a magazine from Hombre magazine where I did Miss Universe. At the time it was Miss Puerto Rico, Zuleika Rivera. So, you know, I did her hair. And then I did a superstar, a telenovela superstar, Julian Gill. And, you know, so it was a double issue. So I became published very young. And that was just my journey. I was just being free, as entrepreneurs in the beauty industry are. We're just very free. I knew nothing about business. I just had talent and I just knew how to do the work. I knew how to network and I knew how to develop relationships with people very quickly and keep those relationships. So I knew how to develop a relationship and have a long-term relationship. So we, you know, did into that. Then, you know, I started working salons. I worked for a lady named Cy Cook from Rapunzel. Back in the day, Miami had this extension salon. It was a cute pink extension salon, okay? And I worked for Rapunzel, and there was a stylist named Cookie Moffett, and she's like an amazing celebrity hairstylist. Learned from her. You know, we had some colorists, Anastasia. It was just really good. So I got to learn a lot of things, just being out and about. And then I started trying out different spas, different type, like working in med spas, predominantly white spas, black spas, like just really learning everything. So as a Black woman, it allowed me to learn how to do everybody's hair. That's why my clientele now, you know, I could do Black, white, Spanish, Chinese, Asian, it doesn't matter. Learning how to color, that's where my skills in coloring became developed. As you can see, what we used to do with you back in the day. The extensions, because I worked at that extension salon and they worked with every ethnicity and every texture of hair, that's where I was able to, you know, really just come into my own. And then I partnered up with another young lady with Maggie Rose. And before it was Maggie Rose, it was like a weave spot. And, you know, we partnered up and we just went over that. So that's just, you know, that's just where a lot of my passion came from. I really enjoyed it. I liked doing what I was doing. Then I started teaching. I want to say a year after I graduated beauty school, I started teaching. And I don't know why I started teaching at the time. I was too young to be teaching. Teachers typically have 10, 15, 20 years in the game and they can teach. But I was teaching a year after I graduated. Like had my own class and everything. And I just truly loved it. And that's when I realized I knew that I was never going to be behind the chair. I knew that although I had a gift with my hands, I knew that I didn't want to be behind the chair. And I couldn't explain it at the time. I was too young, but I knew that I wanted to be impactful. I knew I want to be a household name. And I knew that I wanted to change the beauty industry in a dynamic way, and that I wasn't going to be able to do it behind the chair. So the salon thing did not work for me. It just wasn't where I wanted to be. My back be hurting, my legs were hurt, like, you know.
Yeah, I know. You always talk about you owning and you wanted to be the boss and you wanted to change like the licensing requirements in the state. Like you always had big goals for the industry.
Big goals, big things, right? So after, you know, I started working with some schools and, you know, I started getting into curriculum development. I started helping like one school with their curriculum. I started helping the school like figure out how we're going to teach the teachers. Because I never liked the way Black schools, predominantly Black schools, and when I say Black schools, I mean the teachers are Black, the students are Black, administration is Black. In a Black neighborhood, I didn't like the way they were learning, and I didn't like the way Black professionals were being taught how to be professional in an industry that should not be color-based. I feel like if you're going to do hair, you're going to do beauty, you should know how to do white, black, yellow, green, purple, right?
Right.
Didn't like it. So I started to teach, and every time we got to the business course, I noticed that the business course of the section in cosmetology, it was extremely short. And I always remember that when teachers teach the business course, they just teach it real quick. Like you kind of just brush over it.
Yeah, gloss over that part, which is, you know, they're teaching people to be just, you know, stylists, not teaching them how to own and run their own shops.
Right. So something in me, and I think because I have a big mouth, I think I talk way too much. And I need to just learn how to shut up sometimes, right? But this big mouth personality that I am, I always had a problem with this. It didn't sit right with me, Jess. It didn't sit right with me. And I'm like, shouldn't I know how to run the business after I finish? Shouldn't I know some of the stuff that they were talking about? Like, I think there's more that we're not being taught about. So I went and, you know, I went in college and I said, well, you know, I always wanted to go to college. We always knew that. I thought that I was going to work. I said I wanted to be corporate. I wanted to work for some big time company like a Estee Lauder or something like that and be like a CEO one day. Like I'm thinking, you know, grand scheme like that. And so I'm in college and I'm like, well, if I want to learn about money and I want to learn about business, I need to go learn about it. So I went to college thinking that I was going to get this business degree and I was going to learn about money. I thought business meant money.
And it's not at all. It's
Remember that. Two different things. I thought business meant money. I thought because I had talent that would help me get money. It will help you get money. It won't help you keep it. Remember that.
Church.
So I go get my degree, Jess. I do a 2-year program at the community college and I get my bachelor's in business supervision management. I get a certificate in accounting and budgeting. I'm thinking like, oh, it's it. Like, I'm going to know how to do this money thing. And what I realized when I was in college is that the reason some of my businesses wasn't as successful as some other people or the way that I would want to is for a few things. One, I have ADD.
I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs are like that though. Like one of the things that makes this environment of being an entrepreneur so appealing is that every day is different. So you can, you know, it's your job to be having your hand in a lot of different types of situations.
Yeah, but for crazy people like me and people with true ADHD, and I'm a thinker, I'm a creative person, like I'm constantly thinking. So what happens is I can think up the plan. And right now I'm just being so vulnerable and so transparent because this is also giving you an idea of what my flaws are and what my opportunities were. As an entrepreneur and as I'm not even going to put entrepreneur. as a creative thinker, as somebody who creates, because that's a gift, that's a talent. Like, to be an entrepreneur is somebody who sees a problem and comes up with a solution and then monetizes it. Okay, that's what an entrepreneur is.
Right.
You got people who open businesses. They think that's not a real entrepreneur. That's just a serial business person.
Right.
Because if you go open up a franchise here, if you go open up a salon and then you go open up 4 salons, you're not an entrepreneur. Now,
right.
if you
own a business,
you're a business person. You're a businesswoman or man that has several businesses. But now, if you see that there's an issue within the beauty community, and then you go and you create an innovative way to deal with the problem in the beauty community, now you're an entrepreneur. And if you keep doing that, you're an entrepreneur. You found the problem, you found the solution, and you monetize it, right? All right. So all these problems I see in my head, I've created solutions. Now we got to implement it. That was never my strength, Jessica. For me to be the creator, the administrator, the worker, there's different parts of a business.
Yeah, you have different strengths. Like you said, you're the creative and you're the visionary, but actually implementing and executing it is
two different things. And I think it's so important to discuss this when you talk about business, because for those that are trying to be an entrepreneur or trying to get in business, or even when we start going into real estate, this is what's going to help us identify why some people are successful and why they're not successful. So it was in school that I found out all these different characteristics of a business, all these different personalities that it takes to run a business. And so for me, I realized the reason some of my businesses didn't take off is because I had opportunities in the area of being the worker. I never wanted to be the worker. I never wanted to be behind the chair. And I told you that from when we met. I'm just doing this because I got to make some money and I really like you, right? I was very picky and selective on my customers, right? Because I did not want to be behind the chair. I hated it. I hated the monotony of being behind the chair. I hated having to see a client every week. I got to do the same thing. It was just, I hated it. So it didn't work for me, and I didn't get it. And I didn't have the commitment to the commitment. I wasn't committed to the commitment, and that's going to go into real estate too. This is why everybody's a realtor, but everybody's not successful. Because everybody is not committed to the commitment of being a realtor or an entrepreneur, and it takes hustle. Are you going to be committed to making those calls every day? Are you going to be committed to going out to get your stationery so you could pass out the flyers, so you can meet people, so you could pass out the cards? Are you going to be committed to waking up every day and getting your buyers list or your FSBO, for sale by owners list, and calling everybody? If you're not doing these things, you're not going to be successful in real estate, owning a salon, any of those things, right? So now I failed and I failed and I failed, Jess. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's like one business after the next. And I'm like, why? It's a good idea. It's great. Why? So when I went to college and I realized, oh, it's because I'm lacking in the personalities, I tried to work on it. And it was so hard for me. So right after I graduated college, I applied to corporate, to Estee Lauder. And that's when I got hired at Dillard's to be a business manager. This is the biggest trick they ever tell you in the beauty industry. They say, oh, just start off here and it'll get you there. Not true. It's a trick.
Right.
It's a trick. They see that you're good. They want you to do what you have to do. And if they can pimp you for a year, 2, 3 years to get those numbers, it's happy. You need to always go for what you're going for. If you're going to start off somewhere, you need to start off somewhere with the intention saying, okay, I know I'm starting off here because I don't have the requirements to start where I want to start. But if you know you have the requirements to start where you want to start and somebody tells you start less than and work yourself up, they trying to pimp you. So, I'm doing the work. I get promoted and I go to Nordstrom. So now I'm the business manager for Estee Lauder at Nordstrom. This is where I had to face my opportunities and work on it, because now at Nordstrom, I'm the business manager for myself. I'm working by myself for myself. At the other store, there was 4 of us, so I could delegate because I'm good. I'm very good at delegating and working with the team. I'm horrible working by myself. It's the worst thing, Jess. I need a team of people. Right. I take what you're good in, and I'm a great leader, great manager, great delegator. But for me to do it by myself, my ADHD done kicked me in. It is kicked in and they'll kick me out, and I'm down and out and I'm like ready to quit. So I had a manager and she worked with me, and I didn't realize that this lady, Bianca, was actually preparing me for real estate, financial plan, all these other things. So she worked with me, and within a year, 10 months of me being at that counter, I learned what it was to prospect for real, all by myself, not efforts of a team. And I started saying, dang, okay, this is why my businesses failed before, because I never was disciplined in doing this. I was never disciplined with making the calls. But if you're at a job and you got to make numbers, you got to make those calls. So every day I'm on the phone. And retail really helped me be how I am today in real estate and financial planning. Like, it really helped me, which is why I'm giving this background. I promise it ties in. So I'm calling people, I'm talking to them. Now I'm used to cold calling people I don't know. Hey, how you doing? My name is Stefanie. I see. And now we're successful. Now we're making business. Now I get promoted, and now I'm working for Le Labo, which is like one of the top fragrance brands in the company. And my counter was number 1 with my team. My team, we helped take it, and we were posting crazy increases, and I kept growing. But I'm sitting at the store one day while I was at Estee Lauder, Jess, and one day I was like, I ain't never gonna be a millionaire selling these mascaras.
Right.
I'm like, I'm never, ever gonna be a household name doing this. I'm never going to be impactful like what I said I wanted to when I was younger, selling face creams. It's just never gonna happen. What am I gonna do? And then I'm doing the cost, and I'm like, okay, I'm making like $40,000 a year, but I want to make $1 million. And so I'm like, how many hours, how many weeks, how many years will it take? I said, this is crazy. No. So I started thinking to myself, I just really was at the counter like this. And they're like, Steph, what's going on? And I'm like, have you ever thought that you're never going to make a lot of money here? Have you ever thought that? And they're like, girl, you talking crazy. And I'm like, I need to sell something else. I'm like, okay, if I'm making 3% commission on this $300 cream for the face, I said, that's $9, right? I said, I would have to sell a lot of these creams to make $1 million. What can I sell that's gonna make me get $1 million in like a year, 2 years? So I had to start thinking about what are the things that I can sell to get me to $1 million.
Right.
I was never thinking about real estate. I was never thinking about this. So I said, what costs a lot of money? I said, I have to find a product that has a higher sales point, so that when I get a commission, my commission is higher, so that the goal can be more realistic.
Right. That same 3% instead of a $300 product. Now you got $1 million property
Correct.
that you can sell.
Correct. I said, I need to be selling stuff for $300,000, $3 million. Because then now if I sell something for $300,000, that's $9,000 commission. I said, okay, that's closer. What costs $300,000? So now I'm really at my job thinking about this. I want to pause on that. We're going to stop right there. While I was doing hair and while I was teaching in the Black community, I noticed there was something very similar in the Black community when I was teaching. People didn't know about credit. People didn't know about LLCs. People didn't know about economics. People didn't know what the concept of opportunity cost was. When I went to college, I learned those things. I learned how to look at the opportunity cost. I learned how to say every $200 hairstyle is not worth it, because if it take me all day to make $200, if it take me 15 hours to do braids to make $200, but I could do somebody's hair in 2 hours and do $200, then I shouldn't be doing the braids for 15 hours. I should try to schedule 3 to 4 $200 hairstyles in 2 hours. So the more I learned in college, the more sophisticated my instruction became in beauty school. And they used to say, Miss Stefanie, yo, this is crazy. And I remember making them make a business plan. And I remember making my students break down their prices per the hour. I remember making them say, how many clients, what's your end goal? How much you want to make at the end of the week? Yeah, you want to make 1,000? Okay, what is your average price? What are your different prices? Tell me how many heads you're going to have to do per week to make your $100 and break it up by the day. So I remember teaching them about goals. And I also remember when I was doing hair, every time a woman was going through a divorce or a breakup, she was having problems financially and the man was okay. The man was always okay financially. It was the woman who I felt like financially she was lost. So something in me said, I know what these women feel like, because I make money, but I feel like I'm broke all the time. I don't know what to do with my money. My husband was the one who handled the money, handled everything. I don't have him anymore, and I just feel so lost. Mm-hmm. And I remember connecting with other women on that same, I'm lost financially. I don't know what to invest in. I don't know how to save. I don't know what to do now, right? And it's something that I find a lot of women go through, because traditionally speaking, men have always been the leader, the provider. So naturally, they're the ones who's like on top of the money. So I said, I want to learn about finances. So this was even before real estate. I said, I want to learn about finances. So somebody came to me, one of my college buddies, she sent somebody from Primerica to me so that they could recruit me and give me life insurance. So immediately I was down for the pitch. I was like, I don't have the money today. I'm gonna have it like in a few days. Call me back. I'm gonna sign up. Cause I wanted to learn, Jess. I just wanted to learn about finances. So I was doing Primerica on the side for 6 months. But remember how I told you I wasn't committed to the commitment because I didn't know about that kind of stuff yet.
Right.
So I didn't do good the first time around.
You got to know how to scale and how to grow your business.
I didn't know how to do that. So I immediately got tired of it. I got bored of it. It wasn't fun. It was work. I didn't want to work. I wanted it to be fun because I was still like that oh, I'm a creative person. So I was like, I don't want to do this. I got to call all these people. These people telling me, no, I ain't got time for that. But I still had the license. I went and I studied for the license during my spring break in college, got the license. And I was like, well, I'm going to one day teach the beauty industry and women all around America about finances and how to be wealthy. So I'm going to learn myself and then I'll come back and teach. So now we can skip back to when I had my epiphany. So now I'm like, okay, what am I going to sell that makes $300,000? I was like, okay, I could sell a boat. But girl, you ain't finna be selling no boats, please. You know, I'm like, okay, I could sell cars, but that's no, average car ain't $300,000.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I could sell a house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I need to get my real estate license.
Mm-hmm.
Literally getting a license for me is like, oh, girl, that's what you want to do? Okay, just go study and go get it. So at this point, remember, I already have my life insurance license, okay? But it wasn't giving me what I needed. I just kind of just let it go, whatever. So the life insurance license is there. The degree is there. So I go get the real estate license. I say, you know what? I'm going to get my real estate license this year because I want to learn about real estate. Every time I read a book about finances, they say the quickest way to being a millionaire is real estate and financial services and sales. I said, I'm in sales, but I'm selling the wrong thing. Okay. So I go get my real estate license. And it was funny. I had a client who loved me so much. She sponsored me. She paid the $500. She sent a carrier to my house to give me a $500 check. And she told me, she says, Nordstrom doesn't deserve you. No company deserves you. I hope this changes your life.
Wow, that's such a blessing.
Yeah. And she followed me from Dillard's to Nordstrom, went to my store manager and told them, you don't deserve her. I just want to let you know, there's no amount of money you could give this girl that is going to pay her. And she would always tell me, she said, you don't need to be here. If you were my daughter, you wouldn't be here. It was a Spanish lady. And she was into financial planning for Bank of America international department. So all her customers were foreign. And she say, Stefanie, I hope this changes your life. I hope this changes the trajectory in your life. And I hope this helps you get to where you should be in your life for all your skills and talent. And that really touched me. So I had a surgery. I had a hysterectomy. And while I was recovering during the hysterectomy is when I signed up for real estate school. The last week, I dropped out of real estate school online and registered in person, went to school, took my license, took my test. I failed my test 3 times. So anybody who's watching, it's okay if you fail the test. Just keep going. You'll pass it one day. Just keep paying the money, keep studying.
Yeah, you just gotta pass it once and then you're good.
And I took the test, and the first time I took the test, I got let's say a 66. I said, okay, I'm gonna take it again. You need a 75 to pass, right? You need a 75. I had a 66. So I took it again. I got a 69. I said, oh shit, I'm doing good. My mentor was like, oh, just take 2 weeks off and study. I said, girl, I got ADD. 2 weeks, I'm going to forget everything they told me. I need to study now. I'm doing really good. I took it again and I went 3 points up. I'm going to do it again. So I take the test again for the 3rd time and get a 72. And I was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. The next time I take this test, per my track record, every time I take the test, I make 3 points increase, right? If I have a 72, I'm going to get a 75. That's it, baby. I'm in there. So my kids are like, Mom, you not sad? I'm like, sad for what, girl? I have a 72, 73, 75. I'm bound.
You're making progress. You're going to hit it eventually.
Yeah, I said I've been doing 3-4 point increases every time. So the statistics, the numbers indicate that I will at minimum get a 75. See, this is how crazy people in their mind think, okay? Like I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel like, oh, no, I just kept looking at, oh, I'm getting better. So on the 4th time, my hypothecation was correct. I got a 7. I don't know what I got. I just know I passed. So now I have my real estate license. So I tried to do real estate while I was working at my job. That wasn't working because my job was taking everything from me. Being a mom of 2 children now, it just wasn't working. So then I circled back around in Primerica. And this time, Jessica, with all the experience that I had from the failures and the successes, man, I was killing it with Primerica, boy. I was coming in there because, see, something happens. When you're used to winning, you're going to keep winning. Once you find out, winning is a habit. Once you find out how to win, you're going to keep winning. Winning is a habit. Losing is a habit. Losers know how to lose. Winners know how to win. People who suck know how to suck. People who do the bomb, it's because it's a habit. It's a mindset. Once I found out how to win because of my failures, you couldn't stop me. So when I circled back to Primerica, immediately I came in and I was on fire. And I felt so good because I was learning about money and they were teaching me about the rule of 72 and compound interest. And they were teaching me all the things that this is what they need to be teaching in that stupid life skills class that they teach in high school. They don't teach these things. So now I'm working, I get promoted all the way to be like an assistant department manager. So now I'm managing 7 million in volume, 30 people. I'm teaching them how to make money. I'm teaching them how to call. I'm teaching them how to do everything you need for real estate and or financial planning. So now I'm still doing the financial services on the side. The real estate, it was hard for me to do because see, now you got to show property. You got to be on people's schedule. I can't come see you at 6 o'clock when you get off of work because I don't get off of work till 10. Mm-hmm. With real estate, you got to be urgent because people need to move. People need to move right now. People might have 2 weeks to move. If you're not helping them, they're going somewhere else.
Somebody else is going to help them.
Because real estate, for some reason, is a little, not for some reason, I know I'm being stupid. Real estate is more important to people than the financial services. For some reason, financial services is an option. Make sense?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, everybody has to have somewhere to live, so they put that priority over investing in their financial stability.
Bingo. So for me, real estate at that time, it was like, damn, I can't do this. Who's calling me? Sorry, guys. So at that time, real estate was a little difficult for me to get my feet into because I didn't have the time to do it. But with Primerica, with the financial planning, I was at my job. Yeah, girl. Okay, so what you looking for? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a quote. Like I'm on the people's job, working my other job. Okay, and I can say that because I don't work for them no more, and they'll probably never hire me again. But they knew I was good. they knew I was a little, So 6 months into financial planning, what I thought was financial planning at that time, because now that I'm more into my career, I understand that what I was doing was just like an introductory. I think it was God's way of showing me what I could be doing. So I'm thinking I'm doing financial planning and I'm making money just so then I started making money part-time in the same equivalent as my full-time job. So then I'm like, but I was still scared to leave my job because I was scared of losing the financial stability that I just really start coming into. Because let's go back to being an entrepreneur. For everybody who's trying to be their own business person, if you have children and responsibilities, this is what you need to understand. Mm-hmm. When you try to get into business for yourself, you need 2 sets of income because you're going to have 2 sets of bills. The reason I was losing salon after salon or the business wasn't going good because, when you got people working for you and you got to pay them their money and you only have one source of income coming in, but you have 2 sets of entities that you got to put money to, you got to pick which one you're going to pay. You're going to pay the rent for the building that you in for your business? Or, because see, back then it wasn't like really online business that we thought was booming. It was brick and mortar. Or are you going to pay your home? Real business people, they always pick the business. Because in your mind, your home's not making you money, but your business is. And in your mind, you feel like I could put money into the business and it'll make me back money. If I put money into the house, it's not going to make my money back.
Yeah, so liability from that standpoint, like you said, it's not making you any money.
Right. But what it is doing to home is going to make you homeless when you don't pay that bill. Okay? And if you have children, now you got a custody case with the daddy, with the baby daddy or the ex-husband. Okay? And people always ready for you to fall like that because that's when people could take advantage when you're down. So for me, I was homeless a lot of times. people didn't know, but I was homeless a lot of times because I always picked the business. And I love my kids because my kids have been on this journey with me. So they just was always for the ride. They was just like, all right, we're moving to another place. And to other people, I looked unstable. To other people, I looked all over the place. No, I'm not all over the place. I'm not unstable. I have a vision. I have a dream. And I don't see myself working a 9-to-5 for all my life. I can do it. I just need a little help. And I didn't have mom and dad. I didn't really have nobody helping me. So when I made a decision to do something, it was like me all by myself. So I was scared to leave Nordstrom because Nordstrom was the first time that I had true financial stability. I was making the 40,000, then I was making 45. Then when I got promoted to being like the cosmetics manager, the assistant, I'm making like in the 50s. And I'm like, holy shit, I've never made $55,000 in my life. And right. I could pay my bills. I'm good. But then I start seeing that the financial planning, I'm making that same check. And I start, that thing in me that was settled for a few years, it start rising up just. Mm-hmm. And I know that feeling, and that feeling scares me because every time I feel that feeling, I associate it with homelessness, financial instability, right. Judgment on other people, because I know what's going to happen if I submit to that feeling. Mm-hmm. It's like this. All the entrepreneurs know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like you'll take your whole life savings and put it into this idea and you don't even know if it's going to work or not. So meanwhile, while I was at Nordstrom, I done developed these mannequins just like, I got a thing of mannequins that I put a patent on, an international patent on, that like the hair on the mannequin has 2 textures of hair. So you can practice how to do ethnic hair. Like you can practice how to do dreads. You can practice how to do a relaxer touch-up because it has relaxed ends and kinkier hair at the new growth. Like, so I was already
you was already thinking about like more than just, like you said, being a stylist and working and, you know, making money as a fee. Yeah. You want to make sales for your business.
Yeah, so I got the mannequins and I'm like, we can't do nothing for 2 years. So now we got to let it sit until this patent comes out so nobody takes my idea. But, you know, I done slid into the hair show with these mannequins. Mm-hmm. But all in my head, I'm looking at all these people and I don't see beauty. Now I see prospects. Now I see people who need financial planning. Mm-hmm. I'm looking and I said, they need their credit fixed probably. They need insurance. They need brokerage accounts. They need retirement plans. I'm looking at thousands of people at the Bronner Brothers hair show that are entrepreneurs. And I'm like, look at all these people who probably don't have their own benefits.
Right.
I'm like, holy shit. Look at all these people who don't have a retirement account set up. Look at all these people who, I'm like, I felt like I was in a gold mine. Mm-hmm. I felt like I was in a gold mine with no pick to pick the gold. All I had was my life insurance license just for Florida. So, and my real estate license that I was not using. So now we're on year 2 that I have my real estate license that I'm not using. And I want to say your leadership also is going to affect your trajectory. Mm-hmm. Who you connected with, because who I was connected with first with real estate, I wasn't active. I wasn't really doing anything. So I said, you know what? I need to change my environment. I want to be active in real estate. I need to be with people that are active. So I called up, I went to Kai's real estate, and you know what? I connected myself with a group called the Hibbert Group, directly under Claudia-Ann Hibbert. Claudia-Ann Hibbert, I don't know if you ever heard of her. She is a real estate mogul. She's like the guru in real estate. She's been doing this. She's killing the game. And I said, I want to be connected with them. I want to be, I want her to be my leader. Now, what some people have to understand is you may not like your leadership. You may not like the person who is leading you. You may not agree with how they are and who they are. You may not agree with how they deal with you. You may not like their style. But whoever you choose as your leader, that's who you have to submit to.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I always understood that. So once I choose you as my leader, I